In our aged boar class, entry 29, this boar, I think, once again, is a good quality boar. He's still a little more useful within his maturity compared to some of the others in the age class, but a boar that we talk about, one that's got some extension. This is probably one of the longer neck pigs I've seen within the show, and we certainly admire that about this hog. He's got a good amount of extension up through that head and that neck on him. He balances that up extremely well, so if you need a boar that can certainly give you some more extension up front, this guy can certainly do that. He's proportioned fairly well within his front shoulder blades with where that's at. I'd change this guy as he goes away from me, give him a shot more power of muscle shape and definition, a little bit more stoutness there, but a good combination boar. It's got some good pieces to work with within your herd. Entry 30, this big old mature boar. I mean, we talk about one that's massively thick up over the top, a good amount of top shape working within this hog. This pig needs to be opened up a little more within that chest floor and that front feet. He gets a little more ouchy, I guess, and restricted within his motion off of one front foot. I'm not sure if he's got a cracked hoof or pasturing problem there, but certainly a pig that's got tons of product and mass within his day. I think he certainly was probably a little bit sounder in motion. As he gets bigger, it gets a little bit harder to move in that standpoint, but a big old thick design type of an entry. Might stouten him up, I guess, with some more width underneath him is what I would do, but certainly a big old rugged boar for this type of class. Entry 31 gets out here and moves with a lot of authority. We talk about it that way. A pig that's really big up to the front, 1/3 up in the shoulders. Ideally, I would like to change this pig and give it a little bit more stoutness of bone and square it up. As it comes towards me, it kind of wants to toe out. As it goes away from me, isn't quite as sound in structure that I might prefer. The pig does have some width up underneath him, but certainly needs a little bit more muscle to go with that in this class. Entry 32 is certainly the big beast of the class. We talk about a boar that's got tons of bone and tons of body and mass and power working in him. For a pig this size, and to be able to get that size, you certainly got to have good feet and legs, and that's the purpose of why I discuss this within these classes. This guy certainly has got tons of mass and product. He's got tons of muscle shape and definition to him. Just a nice complete boar. He certainly is very, very sound in order to get to this level in this size. A high quality boar here within this class. Entry 33 is a prettier appearing boar from the profile, extended up to that head and that neck, and big and level in that top line. He maybe doesn't round his top as much as we see within this breed normally, but certainly a boar that's got a decent amount of bone working within him from that standpoint. I might change him how he tucks his legs up underneath him a little more than maybe we would prefer. He needs to square that up and tuck it a little more correct, but certainly a boar that's got a ton of product and mass and body working in him. A nice complete type of pig as well for this class. Entry 35. Really admire this boar's skin and hair coat. He's certainly very, very attractive from that perspective. He balances up extremely well from a profile and gives us a ton of product and stoutness in the front 1/3 of his body. He's deep within his depth of body, and he's fairly sound within his structure. Sets him down pretty true and square on all four corners. I would prefer to have him just a notch bigger in his overall frame size, just to balance him up a little bit more. But certainly he's a high quality boar that puts a lot of good qualities together here and represents that breed extremely well. Entry 36 is kind of a harder doing looking boar. He's maybe not quite as fleshy as some of the others within this class. I prefer for him to have a little more depth of body and depth of flank to balance out, to represent the breed characteristics maybe a little bit better. He needs to have more meat animal shape and definition there to him. He too isn't quite as sound and structured as I would prefer. I need to really change that rear leg structure on this boar. Same thing as he's coming towards me from that standpoint. Entry 37 is a deep-bodied, big-bodied boar. We admire that mass that he's got up front, big in that shoulder and thick in that chest, and carries that all the way through on down the line. He certainly too is fairly flexible, I think, within his structure compared to maybe some others we've seen within that class. He certainly gives us a good amount of body and mass and power there to him. I think because he's so massive, I might want him to be a little little bit stouter in his bone work to balance that up today. Entry 38 is a very stout featured boar. I love the circumference of bone and durability this guy's got. He's big and thick and massive too within his shoulder blade placement. I appreciate that muscle mass that he gives us. Tons of power in his depth of body and tons of power in his rump shape as he goes away from us. This guy just certainly has tons of things that are good within that breed and has done a great job probably for this producer as well. Just a high quality boar that puts together some structure, tons of muscle mass, and definitely we love a little bit more extension he's got for length of body. We love him for his durability and his depth of bone that he's got on his feet and legs today.